What's going on, everybody? Republic Cinema here, and in this video, since this channel has finally reached 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, thank you very much for that, by the way, it's time I do a special video, such as a 3-in-1 video, which means part 1 is going to be a recap of my journey on YouTube, part 2 is going to be a Q&A, and part 3 is going to be another collection room tour video. Without further ado, let's get to it. So it was the 6th of January 2020 when my channel was fired up and ready to have videos posted, and so I posted like 7 videos at once. They were all Star Wars, by the way, because I think I was into Star Wars at the time. On a side note, here's what my voice sounded like 5 years ago.
Make sure to subscribe, leave a like, turn on post notifications. Yeah, whatever that is.
What? Anyways, moving on, I'd continue to make more Star Wars stop motions and some other reviews. Most of the content I did was stop motions because at the time I was still a lot into stop motions. And every time I made a video, I had hoped for every single one of them to at least get 100 views in a week or less. Most of the Star Wars videos I made did not reach that goal. Because, I mean, look at them, they're kind of a little wonky. Who would want to watch those, let's be real. Then the month of March happened because, well, it had to, but obviously there were some world-altering things that I won't get into detail, but let's just say I got a tad more views than I usually did during that quarantine time. But anyways, fast forward 1 month, it's April, and somehow I get back into Transformers because I found out about Studio Series, which at the time they were still doing Bayverse figures, and I watched some other Transformers stop motions that I thought looked really cool, so I decided to do some stop motions of my own, as well as some reviews. If I remember correctly, they attracted more views than the Star Wars videos. For the rest of 2020, I would go on to make both Star Wars and Transformers videos, whether them being stop motions or reviews. I also did try to work with the green screen, which as you can see I was not good at. That's why I stopped using it the following year. But anyways, at the end of 2020, moving on to 2021, I did earn 500 subscribers. And then by 2021, I barely posted anything. I think I only posted like 13 videos. This Star Wars stop motion was the last thing I published in 2021. I didn't post anything until January 2022 after that. Fast forward to the first half of 2022, and the only content I'm making is Transformers related content. And that's how it is from now on. Of course, I got back, and all I did was either some Transformers stop motions, or reviews, and even some unboxings, of course. Oh, and can't forget the collection room tours. And then after that, I decided to change up my setup that I usually use for doing stop motions and reviews. So for I think about a month, I just did like 3 edited videos that did get a lot of views, and I did have a lot of fun making those videos. But that's another story. After I got new studio lights, more backgrounds, for the rest of 2022, I did the same thing. I worked on some reviews and stop motions. Of course, I did work on that one 9-minute stop motion that currently is now, I think, my second most viewed video on YouTube, video-wise, not short-wise. It's also worth mentioning that I did start using community tabs and shorts. I also started doing video game live streams that year. I haven't done one since 2023, though. And then, of course, by the time it was December, the trailer for Transformers Rise of the Beasts dropped, and that's when we get to 2023, when a lot of things changed. Before I continue, I'd like to mention that 2022 was the year I finally got 1,000 subscribers. Anyways, moving on, I did post a lot of Transformers Rise of the Beasts content. After all, it was a new movie coming out at the time, so I decided to take the opportunity to make a whole bunch of videos about it. One of them I did in specific was a long haul, or at least that's what I called it. And yeah, it's like the most popular video on my YouTube channel, video-wise. I also did some shorts, and those also got a lot of views. And then I also did a stop motion of Optimus Prime versus Scourge, which I think is my most second viewed stop motion. And then the rest of 2023 was more reviews, stop motions, slight toy hunts, and even discussions. However, I did try out new types of Transformers figures to review, and a few of them were non-live action movie related figures, so the more I reviewed those figures, the more I started to notice I was losing views. Despite that low viewership, I think it only lasted 2 months, and by the end of 2023, my channel finally reached 5,000 subscribers. And now moving on to 2024, it's more of the same in terms of content, especially for videos and shorts. However, For live streams, I have started to do unboxing live streams and subscriber celebration live streams. But not only that, I started joining other YouTubers' live streams, specifically from JJ Prime Reviews, which I do recommend checking his channel out. I did also get new studio lights as my studio lights that I got from 2022 started to not work anymore. And for the first half of the year, I was doing pretty good with stop motions until July, which was the last time I ever posted a stop motion as of this recording. I don't know why, I just haven't done one at all ever since. Oh yeah, and Transformers 1 was also coming out during that time, so obviously I did some content on that. Of course, no stop motions, unfortunately. And of course, the backgrounds and the desk changed a bit. Instead of the usual white, it's now black. And by the end of 2024, I did get to 9,000 subscribers. But fast forward 2 months later, it's 2025, and the Republic Cinema YouTube channel has finally reached 10,000 subscribers. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And now moving on to what I have not done before, the Q&A. Starting off with our first question, which is a 2-in-1 question. What advice do you have for people who wish to get into toy reviewing? Well, if I'm being honest with you, don't be afraid to review whatever figure you have. Just make sure the background looks nice. Are there any things you wish you were told when you first began? No, not that I could think of. Moving on to the next question, what was your favorite Transformers movie as a kid? That would be none other than Transformers 2007. Although, at the time of its release, I did like Transformers Age of Extinction a lot. What was your first figure ever? Leader Class Nightwatch Optimus. If you had to pick one villain to have in a Transformers movie as the main villain, who would you pick? No Megatron. Well, for the longest time, I was thinking it would have been cool to see Motormaster in the live action. But I guess also having Tarn in live action would be great too. Do you think the Bayverse should have ended at Dark of the Moon? Yeah, probably. What is your opinion on the upcoming Transformers G.I. Joe crossover movie? I think that's what you meant to say there? I'm not too sure. But anyways, I hope they don't mess it up. This is the last Transformers movie in a while, as far as we know. So don't mess it up. Since when do you collect Transformers figures and other figures? Well, I really started collecting Transformers in 2022, but I did also get into collecting a little Halo in the same year. We don't talk about any other figures I've collected, especially Star Wars. If you could design the first SS Bayverse Protoform pack, what would be the number of figures included, Protoform variants, pricing, and from which movie? Honestly, there's different choices for this, but I'm gonna go with a Dark of the Moon themed $45 multi-pack of a deluxe class normal Decepticon Protoform and a Dread Decepticon Protoform. Which one do you like better, the G1 figures or the movie figures? The movie figures, all the way. The G1 stuff is pretty good, but in my personal opinion, I will always like the movie figures better. Out of every single movie, show, ad, any Transformers media ever created, who was your favorite character? Optimus Prime. Do you have any hobbies outside of collecting toys and figures? I do actually. It's collecting and playing video games, specifically first-person shooters. Will you make a stop-motion Transformer series? I don't know, probably not. How was the name Republic Cinema made? So I got Republic from the Galactic Republic from Star Wars. And I kid you not, I got the word cinema from Five Nights at Freddy's YouTubers that had their channel names end with cinema. If there was one Transformer you would have for the rest of your life, what would it be? I suppose the Transformers Studio Series 32 Optimus. What is the hardest Transformers figures you ever found for a good price? There's a few, but I'm going with the Studio Series 86 Grimlock, which I found at dirt cheap for $35. And the 36 Drift, which I found him on eBay unopened for $40. What was the main reason you started collecting the Transformers action figures? Was it because of the Michael Bay movies? Yes, sir. Next question. What Studio Series figure do you think needs a remold the most? Definitely Studio Series Stinger. What is your favorite Transformers show? Definitely Transformers Prime. What is your least favorite and your favorite Bayverse design? So for my least favorite, it's Quintessa, and for my favorite, it's Blackout. What is your favorite stop motion that you've made, and or what is your favorite that someone else has made, and or what is your favorite in general? I think I only have one favorite stop motion that isn't made by me, so I'm just going to put question number 2 and 3 as one question. But my favorite stop motion that I made would probably have to be the Scourge vs. Optimus Prime, by me of course, and the Ambush stop motion by Panda Jack Productions. Anyways, I think that's pretty much it for the Q&A. Thank you for putting in your questions on that one community tab. I wasn't expecting all of those, and I do apologize for not answering every single question. But now it's time to move on to the collection room tour, which is back at location number 1 instead of location number 2. Yeah, remember that room that I previously stated on my other collection room tour videos? I won't delve too much into detail, but let's just say the completion has come to a screeching halt. So for now, I'm keeping all of my Transformers at location number 1. For the record, these aren't all of the Transformers. I still left some at location number 2. Oh, and in case you're wondering, I do have a new shelf, which I've discovered is good enough to put 80% of my collection on. Maybe more than that, actually. But where's the Star Wars stuff, you ask? Under the bed. Like, all of it is under the bed. Anyways, nobody cares for that. Let's move on. What once was the corner where I kept all of my Transformers is now the corner where I keep most of my studio necessities. Yeah, these are the studio lights I use now. Anyways, moving on to the main collection itself, that being the very top shelf, which I dedicated all of my mainline movie Bayverse Transformers towards. Again, these aren't all of them, still missing a considerable amount. We move down to the top part of the main big shelf, and as you can see, I've dedicated it to all of my Studio Series Bayverse figures, which includes a lot of valuables, as a lot of them now are 5 to 6 years old. So I guess with these Studio Series figures in particular, the older they get, the more valuable they get. And you may have noticed a couple of Shadow Raiders and KSI Sentries and Bosses. There's 3 of each for the Deluxes and 2 of each for the Voyagers. The reason why I decided to go on this pretty expensive army build is simply because I felt like it. Other than that, I can't really think of a better explanation. But yeah, here's all of them just in one clip of a video. I hope to bring back the rest, so this will look even more complete, and can't wait for the new ones coming out this year. And next year, actually. And then moving on to one of the many squares filled with Studio Series figures, here we have some more Bayverse figures, only these are the ones exclusively from multi-packs, such as the 15th anniversary ones. We also have some buzzworthy Bumblebee figures, as well as a sprinkle of Nest figures, and one Universal exclusive on the back. Moving on to the next shelf are all of the Bayway knockoffs that aren't Optimus Prime figures. Now here are all the knockoff Transformers figures that are Optimus Prime figures, along with the Bayway trailer. And then here are all of my YOLO Park Transformers live action movie figures, including the Night Optimus Prime, which in my opinion is the best out of the bunch. Can't wait for the rest coming out this year. I forgot to mention the desk where all the magic happens. But anyways, here's all of my YOLO Park figures put into one square of the shelf, along with a couple of YOLO Park boxes in the back. As you can see, I have all 5 of the Prime Changers, very disappointing mainline figures, but I also have the YOLO Park cogged protagonists, and the only 2 Studio Series figures released as of now. I didn't get around to collecting more of the YOLO Park cogless minor versions of the protagonists, as well as the blockies, as I wasn't a big fan of those figures. But here we have the Transformers Rise of the Beasts shelf, which also has some mainline movie Rise of the Beasts figures. As you can see, I'm kind of missing a lot of them from location number 2. Whenever I bring them back to location number 1, I've been thinking of giving those mainline Rise of the Beast figures their own shelf, because they kind of deserve it. At least those mainline figures did a little bit of a better job hyping me up for the movie than the Transformers 1 Prime Changers did. However, we all know that the mainline for the Bumblebee movie didn't even try. Speaking of which, here are all the Bumblebee movie Decepticon figures, I believe that's all of them, including the different versions of Shatter and Dropkick and the core class figures. Rest in peace. Of course, I also have all the Seekers. In case Hasbro ever comes up with making more paint variants of the Seekers, I might end up having to dedicate an entire square of this big shelf to those Seekers. And then here's the Autobot side of the Bumblebee movie figures. I believe that's all of them, minus number 15 Studio Series Camaro Bumblebee and those 2 other SDC exclusives, if you know what I'm talking about. I also do have the Masterpiece figures in the back. The only 2 Masterpiece figures that I own, and I think those are the only ones I'm going to own. I also do have the Studio Series 38 Optimus Prime. Great figure. And here's my Studio Series 86 Autobot shelf, which there's quite a lot. I do have both Commander class Autobots, as well as the trailer on the bottom, holding the original G1 Autobots and not the later 86 Autobots, of course. I am missing a few here, and I do plan on collecting more. But for now, leave a comment down below which one's your favorite out of this square part of the shelf. And then here's the shelf with all 5 Dinobots from the 86, as well as the 86 Coronation Starscream, which nobody likes, and Scourge. Can't wait to collect more 86 Decepticons this year. Might need to give them their own shelf. And lastly, here's my shelf full of video game characters, most of them being from War for Cybertron, and at least 4 of them from Transformers Deactivated. Although, I still hope they make some reactivate figures. There's always that. Can't wait to get more of the Gamer Edition figures, and I am thinking of checking out the Devastation figures. Real curious how those are going to be, especially the Deluxe Class Optimus. Leave a comment down below which one's your favorite, and if you think we should get more Reactivate figures. Then over here is where I keep all of my accessories and instruction manuals, or at least the ones I got from figures that were opened and did not come with their own packaging. The rest of the instruction manuals I kept in their original packaging. But speaking of packaging, here lies a bunch of Studio Series boxes that I've collected throughout the years, most of them being the older ones before them changing into a smaller size in 2022. As you can see, it kind of came to a screeching halt because the rest of the boxes are left at location number 2. But you could also see that there's been a slight resume since I brought most of my figures back to location number 1, with a few boxes from last year and a few other boxes from this year. And also ignore this Star Wars stuff, gotta get that out. And then I also wanted to showcase all the empty boxes in my closet. Yes, I also have some empty boxes in location number 1. However, it's nothing compared to the empty boxes that I have in location number 2. However, this box isn't empty. This carded box right here is left unopened. I got it off the mail at one point, and then I realized how good Optimus Prime looked in the card, and I decided, no, I'm not going to unbox this. There's also these boxes that I've recently retrieved before they were given any chance to be thrown in the trash. Glad I retrieved these, especially this one. Am I ever going to put them with the rest of the boxes? Nah, probably not. That's going to mess some stuff up. And then here's this stuff, where of course you see that lamp that I haven't used in a video since I want to say 2021. Behind that is a mysterious Yolo Park figure. You could probably tell who it is by determining the width of the box. And then behind it is a painting of the original logo for my Republic Cinema thumbnail. And then here are the other 2 shelves that were taken down and were replaced by that bigger square shelf. Yeah, they didn't go too far from where they originally were. And then in case you're wondering what's inside this, is some backgrounds that I've never used. Might use them, who knows. For now, they stay over there. And then for the very last thing I would like to showcase is this side of the wall, which has a few Transformers 1 posters. As a matter of fact, it's all 4 of the main protagonists with their own posters and keychains. But anyways, I think that's pretty much all I wanted to showcase for my collection room tour. As a matter of fact, I think that's pretty much it for this video. Now, at first I didn't really want to do this collection video since I didn't have all the figures. But I figured since I reached 10,000 subscribers, I wanted to do something special, and this collection room tour video was one of them. Maybe next time around when I do another collection room tour video, I should have all of my Transformers in one room, along with some new 2025 stuff, of course. But anyways, thank you guys so much for 10,000 subscribers. It's a huge deal for this YouTube channel, and I just cannot thank you guys enough. I hope to have more videos out next week, especially a review video with that mysterious Yellow Park figure. And I've got to get myself to do another stop motion. I haven't done one in a long time. Be sure to let me know in the comments which type of stop motion I should do. But anyways, if you like what you saw in this video, be sure to slam that like button, share this with your friends as well, turn on post notifications so that way you don't miss another upload. Let me know how I did in this video, and most importantly, be sure to hit that big red subscribe button. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Thank you very much for watching, commenting, subscribing, and overall, just again, thank you very much for 10,000 subscribers, guys. Teo.